Hey there, lady, listen up. Can we talk a little bit of truth here? The reality is your 9 to 5 is not going to make you a millionaire. And in many cases, it has happened that using your 9 to 5, you become, I don't know, the CEO of Morgan Stanley or what have you, and you end up earning quite a bit. But the truth is, most 9 to 5 jobs, 99% of 9 to 5 jobs will not generate you the kind of revenue that you want and that you need in order to, let's face it, achieve that financial freedom, those financial dreams that you've perhaps dreamt about since you were a young girl. And furthermore, when I see women who only have one revenue stream, right? So whether that's just your 9 to 5 or just your side gig or just this entrepreneurial venture that you recently started, what breaks my heart is to think, you know what? I know that there's a lot of information out there on how you can make more income and such, but the truth is, until you diversify your revenue streams, you're not going to gain the traction that you want when it comes down to the financial freedom that you crave, right? So on one side, we've got this reality that most women don't necessarily comprehend, right? We've been taught that, working that 9 to 5 is how we're going to generate income and hopefully retire one day and live happily ever after. But as we all well know, it doesn't work out that way. We're struggling with this whole concept of Social Security being able to be paid out in retirement for our current retirees, let alone for when you and I are of retirement age. So what do we do, right? There's all of this advice out there on how to save for your retirement, how to invest in stocks, how to do all of these financial things. And I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but what I am here to tell you is that you have one asset that is truly worthy and it's capitalizable in multiple ways, right? You've got this. This asset is worth its weight in gold, but it's up to you to monetize it. It's up to you to say, you know what? I can generate revenue this way, but I can also generate revenue this way and this way and this way. And that's what you need to understand to do. You see, I've generated 6 different revenue streams for me so that I can not only further my genius zone, love what I do every single day, but I can generate income while I sleep. And this is what you need to be doing too. And it doesn't mean that you have to quit your 9 to 5. It doesn't mean that you have to become an entrepreneur immediately or that you have to invest in stocks. It just means that you need to really understand what's in here and how to monetize it. Does that make sense to you? You see, you already have everything it takes to be that millionaire or billionaire that you want to be. But you just need to get really clear on how that's going to happen. And the how is dictated by this in here, by this gift that you have. Because let's face it, when you're playing in your genius zone, it doesn't actually feel like you're working. It feels like playing. If I'm honest, there's not a day in the last, 6 or 7 years that I've woken up thinking, I gotta work again. I wake up giddy, ecstatic about showing up because I love what I do. And that's what you should do too. You should love every moment of your workday, right? Whether that be in your 9 to 5 or any of the additional revenue streams that you generate. And this is the important thing. It should not feel like work. And you should not have to work more to generate more revenue, right? Let's take if you go the 9 to 5 route, right? Well, taking on, if just an example case scenario, because here's the thing, everybody's case is going to be absolutely unique as to how you monetize your genius zone. You can have a 9 to 5, or maybe it's a 9 to noon, whatever it is, that work you have. But then furthermore, you also have investments. Your investments work for you while you sleep. right? You don't have to touch them. You have long-term investments that you're not going to even look at for the next 10 to 15 years. But then furthermore, you might be asked to do some public speaking, which you're like, yeah, I love the topic that I'm talking about. So yeah, it doesn't feel like work. It's exciting. It gets you a little bit jittery because let's face it, it's daunting to be on stage, even if it's virtually. And or maybe you've been asked to do consulting work for a big company that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're asking me to do this. So this is what I'm talking about, ladies. When it comes down to your genius zone, monetizing it should not feel like work. It should feel like play, right? So that's the first step. But furthermore, what most women indeed struggle with in monetizing their genius zone is not that they can't or they don't have the tools, right? As we just discussed, like it's all in here. But what also is right in here is those roadblocks that we've been passed on generation after generation by our mothers, our grandmothers, and our great-great-grandmothers way, 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 way back in the day, right? Think about it. It hasn't been until recently that this concept of gender equality ever showed up. And if you even think about when you were raised, if you had the fortune of having a mother in your lifetime, and thinking about even when she was raised and her grandmother, like if I think about my raising, as much as I adore my mom and she's a phenomenal mother, I do realize that there were pressures there for her, right? That told her when she was growing up, right? When my grandmother was raising her, that she had to conform, that she had to do things a certain way, that she couldn't be her true self because, let's face it, it was not okay. In fact, I'm pretty certain that my grandparents were hoping for a boy, and then my mom came out, right? So how does that impact her self-worth for the rest of her life? Pretty flippin' big, right? And how does that sense of self-worth impact me when I was born and growing up, right? As a woman and child, we tend to emulate our parents and their beliefs, and we inherit many of these beliefs. So if your mom felt that she wasn't worthy, how do you think that makes you feel, right? There's a lot to unpack there. Heck, if you go back even further, I know for a fact that my grandmother, her parents hoped that she was a boy, but she wasn't. So there's a whole lineage here of things that we need to unpack. And it's insane. It's insane that we don't realize this. So aside from generating those revenue streams and thinking about what the gift that you have, you also need to unpack your beliefs. So where do you stand in relation to your lineage, to your heritage? What beliefs have you inherited that are truly false and that need to stop with you in this generation, right? How can you take back that family heritage that is no longer wanted or warranted? Because let's face it, it wasn't something that is worth inheriting, be it good or bad, regardless. Something we don't want to continue because it's sabotaging you and your ability to feel worthy of your financial dreams, worthy of your financial ability to be independent and independent. So I'll leave you with those two thoughts, but they're important to forgive, and they're important to understand that on one end, it's not your fault that you didn't know that your 9-to-5 is not going to make you a millionaire, or that you needed to generate multiple revenue streams. And that's what I'm here to show you and share with you. But furthermore, there's that whole component of your mindset. And we're not told when we're born, like, hey, aside from all the genetics that you're inheriting, I'm also going to share with you all of this baggage that's going to come along with you, and feel free to let it go if you want. So there's a little bit of baggage that needs to be let go before you can even attempt to feel worthy, because it's been holding you back more than likely your entire life. And not because anyone in this equation was mean-spirited. It's just that you didn't know better. But now you know better. So what are you going to do about it? I sure as heck hope that you're going to do a little bit of introspection and realize the stories that you've been sold through your lineage that need to change.